Relations. There are four ways to represent relations. The first one is ordered pairs, which you should have already seen in the X and the Y. The second way is a table, which we'll get into how to graph using a table. But it looks like this. There's the X and the Y. And the third way is by graphing, which is basically just plotting points on a graph. And the fourth way, which may be new, is called mapping. You have two circles. One represents the X values. The other one represents the Y values. And then these arrows represent which of the Y values the X values go with. So, for example, you're taking order pair and you'll turn it into a mapping form. So, if you're looking at the notes, the very first example says to express a relation, and then it gives you 5 ordered pairs. And then it says to represent them as a table, graph, and then mapping. So it already gives us the ordered pairs, and then we're going to do the last 3 that are listed on here with those ordered pairs. So I'm just going to rewrite the ordered pairs up here on the board. That way I'll have them as a reference. We've got 4, 3, -2, -1, -3, 2, and -2, -4, and then 0, -4. Okay. So the easiest way to do this is we'll start with the table, because obviously we already have the order pair. Whenever you put the order pairs in a table, you need to make sure that the order of the X values is from least to greatest. Okay, so we're going to look at all of our X values. And we also don't repeat any of them. But our smallest X value we have is -3. Oh, I think I copied. I did. I copied that one. We have -3. Then we have -2. Then we have 0, 2, and then 4. So then what you do with the Y values is you put the corresponding Y value with whatever X value we have here. So with -3 up there on the order pairs, we have 2. -2, we have -1. 0, we have -4. 2, we have -4. And then on 4, we have 3. So that's how we represent the relation as a table. The next one we do is the mapping, because that one's a little different. I'm actually going to put that in the blue ink. For mapping, you just write the letters X and Y to represent our order pairs. Then we're going to draw 2 ovals. And then inside the ovals, you're going to put the X values and the Y values. Those you do not have to have any particular order, but just as with mapping, we do not repeat any of the X or Y values. So if they're represented twice up here, then we're only going to write it once down in here in our mapping. So I'm going to go ahead and just go down the line. 4, -2, -3, 2, and 0. And then on the other side, I'm just going to go down the line with the Y values, not repeating any ones that repeat. 3, -1, 2, -4. The last one is -4, but since we already have it here, I'm only going to write it once. The last part of mapping is to draw the arrows that connect the 2 ordered pairs together. So 4 goes with 3, -2 with -1, 3 with 2, 2 with -4, and also 0 with -4. So -4 should have 2 lines going to it. And then that would represent our mapping. Graphing should be something that we're already familiar with. So I'm actually just going to do a rough graph of these order pairs. However, make sure whenever you're turning in assignments that you do them on a piece of graph paper. But for the purpose of this, because it is just really quick, I'm just going to write them down on a rough sketch of a graph. Okay, so I just went 7 up, down, left, right. Okay, the first order pair is 4, 3. So you go over to the right 4 and then up 3. They're all positive. Put a dot. -2, -1. To the left, -2, down, -1. -3, 2. To the left, -3, up 2. And then 2, 4. So we're going to go to the left, to the right 2, and then down 4. And then 0, -4. So we're going to go over 0 places and down -4 places. Okay, this shouldn't, or they may not make any type of pattern or any type of design, or may not look like anything significant, and that's fine. We're just graphing points. So there are the 4 ways to represent relations. We have order pair, table. Let's back over. We have order pair, table, mapping, and then graphing. Part B, if you're looking at your notes, it is state the domain and range using the same example. The domain and range are just basically your x and y values, and that's it. The domain, just like in the alphabet, D comes before R, so in this case, X comes before Y. So the D is our X values, and the range is our Y values. So I'm going to write D equals, meaning that's our domain. And then I'm going to put a brace, which represents that it's a set. And then I'm just going to list out all the X values. And then when you list these, they need to be in numerical order. So I'm going to look at my table because those are already in numerical order for my X values. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. And then close it with another brace. I'm going to do the same thing for the range. Those again need to be in numerical order. So I'm going to look up and then see what they are. -4, and this you do need to repeat them. Because in this case, we're just stating numbers. They have no significance with the order or what have you. Okay. The next part of the notes was a word problem that I'm not going to go over, but I am going to go over the last bit of information, which states writing the inverse of a relation. I'm going to use the numbers that we used in the example we just went over. So I'm going to actually rewrite those. I just want to rewrite them to show that this is the original. And basically to write the inverse, you just take these numbers and you switch them. So you switch your X values and you switch your Y values. So then the inverse would be 3/4, -1, -2, 2, -3, -4, 2, and then -4, 0. And that's all you would need for the inverse. And those are the main points of this section.